Welcome to section 12.6. This is the 131st session of the CISSP exam prep series. In this session, we'll spread work across many systems to keep services fast and available. We'll answer several questions. What problem does load balancing solve? How does a balancer decide where each request goes? What is TLS offloading? What role do virtual IP addresses play? And what is the difference between active-active and active-passive designs? Why does this matter beyond the exam? Because availability is a promise your users feel every second. Picture a streaming platform on the night of a championship match with millions pressing play at once. No single server survives that alone. Spreading the load and failing over gracefully when a machine dies is what keeps the service alive. Designing that resilience is your responsibility. What problem does load balancing solve? Load balancing makes the best use of your infrastructure by spreading traffic across several links or devices. The payoff is lower response time, higher throughput, less overload, and no single choke point. A common use is fanning requests across a server, farm, or cluster. A load balancer sits in front and decides where each request lands. Picture a supermarket manager opening more checkout lanes and steering shoppers to the shortest one. Nobody waits behind a single overwhelmed register. How does a balancer decide where each request goes? It follows a scheduling method, and there are several to know. Random choice sends each connection to a destination at random. Round robin walks the list in order, one after another, then loops. Load monitoring sends the next request to whichever target is least busy right now. Weighted, or preferencing, favors the stronger machines. So a server with double the capacity gets double the share. Least connections routes to the target with the fewest active sessions, lowest traffic, or lowest latency. Locality by geography picks the closest destination, while locality by affinity keeps returning a client to the same server it used before for a consistent experience. Picture a head waiter seating guests, sometimes by the next open table, sometimes by which section is quietest, and sometimes by sending regulars back to their favorite booth. What is TLS offloading? A load balancer can do more than distribute traffic. It can also strip the TLS encryption off incoming requests, so the web servers behind it are spared the heavy work of decrypting and re-encrypting. That frees those servers to focus on the application itself. Picture a mailroom that opens and sorts every sealed envelope at the door, so each office upstairs just reads its letters and gets on with work. The cost, of course, is that traffic past that point may travel in the clear, so you protect the zone behind it. What role do virtual IP addresses play? A virtual IP address is the single front door to a whole pool of servers. Unlike a physical address tied to one interface, it maps to a cluster, and the balancer uses it as the entry point for incoming traffic. That design brings real strengths. It boosts high availability, because if a server fails, traffic quietly shifts to healthy ones. It enables scalability, letting you add or remove servers behind the scenes without clients noticing. It is where TLS termination often happens, and it supports content-based routing and even global load balancing across data centers. Picture one well-known street address behind which a company can rearrange its whole office while every visitor still arrives at the same door. What is the difference between active-active and active-passive? Both are load balancing designs, and the trade is about how you use your spare capacity. In active-active, every pathway carries traffic during normal operations, maximizing throughput. But if one fails, the survivors must shoulder the full load, so capacity drops under stress. In active-passive, some systems sit dormant as standbys. When an active element fails, a standby wakes and takes over, keeping performance steady before and after the failure. Picture two ways to run a delivery fleet. Run every truck flat out and accept slower days when one breaks down, or hold a fresh truck in reserve so service never dips. So let's bring it together. Load balancing spreads work to cut response time, lift throughput, and remove single points of failure. A balancer chooses targets by scheduling methods, from round robin to weighted to affinity. TLS offloading relieves servers of encryption overhead, and virtual IP addresses give a pool one, resilient, scalable front door. Active-active maximizes capacity but degrades under failure, while active-passive holds reserves to keep performance constant. Designed for load and for failure together, and your services stay both fast and available. The MCQs covering all the topics and concepts from this session are available on RooCloud.com. Practice the chapter-specific MCQs before moving on to the next session. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or feedback, post a comment below or email us. I will see you in the next session.